Hey there, Mama. So today's YouTube episode is going to look a little different than my podcast episode this week. So what I try to do is have my YouTube video be like a little teaser of the bigger podcast episode that goes into more details, and also kind of a teaser for the blog post, which also goes into more details than I share on the YouTube video. But this week, for the first time ever, I can't even believe it. I am going to share on the podcast my first chapter of the personal growth book for moms that I have written. This is I think of it as my third baby. I am putting it out into the world. I'm terrified and excited and in love and all the things that one often experiences with a new baby. I am feeling those for my book. So I'm not going to read to you my sample chapter here in this video. I feel like that the better avenue for that is either to jump over to the blog to read it there or to listen to the podcast episode. But I thought I'd just give you a little update here on YouTube to share what I've done so far, where I'm at, and where I hope to go. So think of this as a little personal growth book update. So I decided in kindergarten that I wanted to write a book. I have wanted to write a book ever since I knew what a book was. My first word was book. Like, this runs deep. And it's always been my dream, but obviously like college and kids and what am I going to write a book about anyway? And all the things, personal growth journeys, starting a business. I've been busy. In January of 2022, last January, I was like, this is it. This is my year. I'm going to write my book. I'm rewinding on you a little bit more, but during the pandemic, so 3 years ago at this point, also crazy, I wrote a proposal during the pandemic when we had the lockdown. I needed some structure. I was sort of losing my mind. So I decided to write a proposal for a personal growth book for tween girls. I finished the proposal. I pitched it to Scholastic, who am I? What's happening? During the pandemic, in July, I got some great feedback. Obviously they didn't accept it, but I got some great feedback. And then I dropped it. It was July when I pitched the book, and the world was just sort of opening back up, and I was trying to save my photography business. So things got busy and I just dropped the book. So that was, oh my goodness, 2020. Yeah, July 2020, pitched the book, dropped the book, and then came back in January 2022 and was like, all right, let me rethink this. So it's interesting because the biggest piece of feedback that I got when I pitched the book was they didn't feel like the book was actually for tween girls. They felt like the book was for the moms. And I was like, what? No, you're wrong. It's for the tween girls. I was a 5th grade teacher. I know this stuff. And then I let it sit for 3 years and was like, shoot, I really want to write this book for moms. It is personal growth for moms. So I decided in January 2022 that I was ready to kind of focus a little bit more on that personal growth specifically for moms, with moms being my audience. It's funny because in January, I just wanted to write a book. It didn't need to get published. I didn't know if it would be fiction or nonfiction. I just wanted to experiment and write and get back to that. It's always been therapeutic for me. But when I started writing in September, I wrote. I literally, I wrote down explore this topic and this topic. No, I didn't. Day one when I was supposed to be exploring, I wrote chapter 1. It was oh, that just flowed out of me like nobody's business. And I was like, all right, let's not put the cork in this. Let's let it keep going and see what happens. And I think 9 weeks later, the book was done, which is wild. The goal for a self-help book is 65,000 words, and I have far exceeded that. I think I'm in 70,000 words in my first draft, and I was done in November. I finished the first draft of the book. So in November, I put it down because I honestly, my head was just spinning. It was my busy season in photography, and the holidays were coming up. I take December off with Photography Land. Just a busy time. So I took a break, stepped away from it. And then January was a long month. And I realized I really hadn't come back to the book, but I didn't feel the pull to. So I was like, let me just see what happens. And then I was getting ready to go on my personal growth retreat, which you can hear all about in the last episode, episode 45. I got into all the details about my personal growth retreat, but I decided to bring my book with me. That was going to be my reading material. So I sat poolside and read the 153 pages of my book, cover to cover. And honestly, I just got really excited about it. Like, I knew it was decent. But reading the whole thing all at once, I was like, oh my goodness, I'm so excited to get this into people's hands. So the book has been reread. I have 13 beta readers who have volunteered to read my book and to give me some feedback. And I have decided that I want to get this book out into the world. My only goal is to make it so that my daughters will have this book. Anybody else is just bonus. But really, like, my heart was in it for them, wanting them to read it and wanting to empower other moms. But that's always sort of been my mom goal, is this is for my girls. So my plan right now in March 2023 is this. I'm hoping to have a proposal written mid-April-ish that I can then start pitching to traditional publishers. I'm anticipating a few problems. The first problem I'm anticipating is my platform. So I'm very active on social media and website and all the things, but you really need to have 10,000 subscribers on your mailing list to really make a difference in the publishing world, for them to pay attention to you. And I don't have that. My following is small but mighty, and I appreciate every single one of the subscribers that I have on my mailing list, but it's not 10,000. So I anticipate that being a stumbling block. I also it's hard to get a traditional publishing deal, and I'm open to it. I am putting feelers out. I'm doing the research. I'm going to try, but I also want to be realistic and know that it just may not happen. So if it doesn't happen, I'm hoping to start researching self-publishing options as well. And my goal is to be holding my published book in my hands at the end of this year, which is 9 months from now, which is crazy and actually kind of funny, because I said it was my third baby in 9 months, and that's funny. But anyway, I am so excited about this book. If you are interested in just being the first to know any book related news, I will include a link in the video description to my release list, and those people will get an email when I know when this book is going to be out in the world, out in the wild, if you will. So you can definitely feel free to add your name there. It will help increase my subscriber list, and that way I will be able to show that to some potential publishers. So thank you for your support with that in advance. And yeah, that's it. That's the book update. So stay tuned for more. I'm hoping to be able to update you again over the summer with hopefully some exciting news, but we shall see. Fingers crossed, positive vibes. Thank you so much for being here, Mama. I appreciate you. Don't forget, keep growing. Little eyes are watching. Have a great day. Bye.